In today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can create 5 beautiful Christmas wreath DIYs like a designer. Keep watching. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I am Ramon, a Christmas design expert and seasonal decorator here to help you feel more comfortable about your designs. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you not 1, not 2 or 3, but 5 Christmas DIYs step by step. And I'm gonna give you all the tips so you can learn how to create beautiful Christmas wreaths like a designer. So if you are interested in how to create beautiful 5 Christmas wreath DIYs, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp. Why? Well, because it is free and it really helps this channel. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. While you subscribe, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss all the Christmas DIYs coming your way. Are you guys ready? We're going to start with a super simple wreath with a beautiful lantern that I know you're going to love. Let's take a look. All right, you guys, so for this idea is going to be the lantern idea, and this is gonna match our little lantern that we did on our lantern video. So we're gonna use a lantern and a little candle. We're gonna use a green wreath that came from Hobby Lobby, and might as well just take that pesky tag off. We're also going to use 4 of these Dollar Tree picks with all of the berries and the ornaments. You guys know how in love I am with this, guys, so we're gonna use 4 of those. We're going to use some clusters of ornaments in red and green, some really big ones because I really want to make a really big statement piece on the top. So we're gonna use some of these big ones and I'll show you how do we do those. And then we're gonna use this ribbon that says Merry Christmas, ho ho ho, and it's a burlap ribbon for the dollar store. We're also gonna use some pipe cleaners in red to attach our items. So let's get started. The very first thing I really implore you to do when you're doing one of these wreaths is grab your wreath and go ahead and give it a fluff. All you have to do is pull these bristles up because when they pack them really flat as a pancake, and you do not want to see that on anyone's door. Pancakes are good on the plate for breakfast, sometimes dinner for breakfast, however, not good on your door. So all you have to do is basically just pull, and when you're pulling these bristles, just make sure you do them all on the same direction and just go ahead and rotate while you do that. That way you give it the maximum coverage and it'll just fluff up so pretty and it will look more natural. So all you have to do is touch some of those bristles, not even all of them, but I mean, if you're gonna take the time to do them all, that's fine. So this is what the wreath looks like, a little fluffed out. What also you can do is just grab your hand and then do this number right here. We used to flap hundreds of wreaths at the store where I worked. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy right here, right? And then what I wanna do is I'm gonna make a bow. So I'm gonna just drop this on the floor and I'm gonna give it just a little tail because we're gonna go ahead and use a focal point on it. And if you guys haven't seen the video, how I make bows, 3 styles of bows, I'm going to link it up so you guys can watch that as well once you're done with this video. As I told you before, I'm sorry about the music. Back then I did not know how to edit a video, so I'm really sorry that it's super loud and annoying. But so we're gonna use all of the ribbon that comes on this little spool. And these also don't have to be perfect. Keep in mind that to be beautiful does not have to be perfect. And I always tell people Mother Nature does not create perfection, so don't look for it anywhere in your decor. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just attach this with my pipe cleaner. I just go through the bow and I pull back. It's super easy and simple. All right, I'm gonna pull real quick. I'm gonna twist, and then I'm gonna put this sweet little bow right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and attach it to my bristles. Or actually, I'm gonna go back and just attach it. It's a sweet little touch, but I'll show you in a second how we're gonna make this bow stand out even better, all right? So then I have 2 strips of this same ribbon, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna fold them in half, right, like this, and then I'm gonna pinch, and then I'm gonna attach right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just twist with my bristles. And what you wanna do is just create some loops to kind of elongate that bow shape all the way down, like this. You want to go ahead and loop it like this and just attach it. Give it a thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this series. And then also please leave me a comment down below and let me know if you're enjoying the multiple project on each video. Now I'm gonna go ahead and spin to my, like this, so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm basically just pinch right here with some of those bristles. Now we're gonna cover some of these with ornaments. So once again, it does not have to be perfect. Don't look for perfection because perfection does not exist in Mother Nature. So why are we gonna force it? That's my point. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna go ahead and attach here too. Then the next step is I'm gonna add these dollar store picks. Once again, you guys get rid of those tags. And then also take a minute to touch every single branch and fluff them out. Everything that has a little wire, make sure that you pull that wire forward, backwards. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give them a little bend like this, pull those ornaments forward, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert one right here. And with my own bristles, I'm gonna go ahead and secure this like that. You wanna do it in a few places. Look how pretty that is. Just one pick of greenery with ornaments, and look what it does to this wreath. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add another one right here. Once again, just using my bristles. And I have 4, so I'm gonna do 2 on each side. But you wanna give them a little space because we're gonna add some ornaments to it too. So just go ahead and add this like this. And then we're gonna go ahead and add this one over here. Just with the bristles, you just twist that bristle into one of the ornaments or into the pick, and look, it'll stay. You could stop right here if you wanted to, but because we're Ramon at home, this is my show, so I always like to do more is more. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and attach the lantern. And this one has a sweet little door that you wanna make sure that it's forward so you can get to that candle. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this guy right here with my bristles for the wreath. I'm gonna go ahead and pull those bristles through my holder, pull it as far back as I can and as tight as I can. So that's gonna help my lantern stay in place. And when I wanna turn my candle on, I can just go ahead and do that. Like that, I can leave it open if it's for indoors, or I can close it. These candles come on a timer and they just look so cute. So I'm gonna leave it on for now. Then the next thing I wanna do is I'm gonna create some clusters, and I have created this one right here. So basically I also have a video on this if you wanna watch the whole tutorial on it. But what you do is you grab an ornament in a medium size, then you grab a large one right here, and then you grab a small one right here. And you just put them on this pipe cleaner and it gives you this cluster of ornaments. Then what you want to do is I'm going to put this one right here. So I'm going to pull back with my pipe cleaner. I'm going to make sure that I secure it. I'm going to come all the way down like this. And that just gives it a more Christmas look. And then I have this massive one that I want up here. Because I want right here, I like to work with sets of 2s, 3s, and 1s. So I have 2 and I have 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and add this guy right up here on the top, making sure that all of my ornaments show. And I'm just gonna go ahead and attach this with this pipe cleaner. You basically just attach it to one of the bristles. Make sure that you twist it really good. And it'll stay there till you cut it, you guys. That's the beauty of working with wire. And then you just basically secure them. You can swirl around one of those bristles to secure in place. Make sure that all of your ornaments show like this. And voila, you have yourself another beautiful wreath. Thumbs up if you like it. And let me show you what it looks like on the door. Wasn't this wreath absolutely gorgeous? You guys, it is super easy to make. All you need is a lantern, a few ribbons, a few ornaments, and you can make a statement on your front door with this beautiful Christmas wreath DIY. But now I'm gonna give you some designer tips on how to create a beautiful Christmas wreath on a Dollar Tree budget. Let's take a look. This next Christmas DIY, what I wanted to do is show you how you can create a gorgeous smaller wreath for your door. If you live in an apartment or if you have one of those storm windows, this is going to be perfect for that. We're going to use one of these wicker wreath forms and some of these traditional looking poinsettias. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cutting the poinsettias short but not too short because we want them to be weaved into our wreath form. So I want to say probably about 4 inches. So what you do is you just continue to add those poinsettias, and if it sticks out like this, it's better to cut it off after than not have enough stem to add that poinsettia. So basically what you need to do is go ahead and put them together like that, and just weave them into your wreath form as you go. One to the left, one to the right. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. It doesn't matter how small the project may be. If you just continue saying that to yourself in your head, I promise you, you too will be able to create some gorgeous wreath DIYs, whether they are hundreds of dollars or just a few dollars, because the technique, you guys, is the same. And sometimes you really have to push, but we want to make sure that those poinsettias really go in. And like I said, we'll go at the end and clip all of those stems sticking out. Look how easy this is, and it really is filling in. So now I ran out of poinsettias. I'm gonna cut all of these right here. And I like to cut them all at once just because, well, it is easier and faster. And these affordable poinsettias, you can find them at Walmart, you can find them at Hobby Lobby, you can find them everywhere right now. Everybody has poinsettias. So what I'm going to do is continue adding some of this, and I'm just gonna go and insert more. Sometimes it's better to just leave the stem long like that, because we are going to go back and cut them all. But look, you can actually pull on it. It is so easy and simple. All right, so I'm gonna continue. You guys, if you have not given this video a thumbs up so far, what are we waiting for? If you are enjoying these DIYs, be sure to let me know which one has been your favorite one so far, and if you are as excited as I am for the holiday season. This year we are doing so many DIYs, and once again I want to ask you to give Jamison a thumbs up for helping around and getting all of these videos out to you. We are having such a blast decorating for the holiday season, and I really hope that you are as well. Look how simple this is, you guys. You're basically just inserting all of these poinsettias in by pulling. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm going one way. So you have to continue with your clock motion. And so I'm gonna continue adding. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some to the inside. But now what I'm going to do is cut them a little shorter, because these ones are a little long. So remember, prep once or prep twice and work once. Look how packed it got right here. That is exactly what I'm looking for a packed wreath. Okay, so we used about 5 of these affordable poinsettia bundles. Look at this. And I feel like I need some right here. So I'm gonna grab one of my poinsettias and I'm going to pull in here real quick. Okay, so now I'm gonna give this a fluff and I'll be right back with you. I'm gonna trim all the stems and share with you the next step. Keep watching. Okay, so now that we are done inserting our poinsettias, look how cute this is, you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our wire cutters and just give all of this a little trim to all of these stems sticking out, because we want to make sure that they don't scratch your door. Also, what you could do is do a felt backing. If you go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you can always buy some felt and do a round and then just glue it. For the video purpose, I'm just gonna leave it like this so you guys can kind of get an idea. But look, you basically just trim all of these stems that were popping out. It is a little tedious because you have to make sure that every single stem goes into the wreath form. But look how cute this turned out. This one's dancing off right here. And then I'm going to add this other one that fell off right here. Real quick, to make sure that it's pretty full. There you go. So now we're gonna put a wreath right here. How absolutely adorable is that? I love it, it's so cute. So now to make it even more sassy, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring one of these affordable burlap ribbons, and I'm going to start by giving this a little cut like that. And I'm going to do a cute little bow. So I'm going to do as many loops as I can with this bolt of ribbon. Let's see, let's do 2. Look how sweet is this. I'm gonna do 3. We're gonna do 4. We're gonna do 5. So it's a really fluffy bow. We're gonna do 6, like that. And then I'm going to grab my wire that is already pre-taped. And like I always tell you, pull really tight as you can. And then we're going to make sure that we fluff this sweet bow It's fluffy and fat the way I like them, like this. And you know what, I'm going to go ahead, since that tail was really long, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open where I closed, and then I'm going to grab this end of the tail and I'm going to pull it up here, and now I'm going to wire really strongly. So that's going to give me that loop right there. Well, what I'm going to do is just cut, and so now we have 2 loops instead of 1, and the one facing up. Then I'm going to grab right here and I'm going to insert my bow. I'm going to take it off like this, and remember to spin it around really tightly. And like I told you in the past, you grab the rest of this wire and just swirl them together like this to create this loop, and that's going to be your door hanger right there. And look how absolutely sweet. I'm just going to not dovetail, but cut at an angle, one in, the other one out, and just like that, you got yourself a traditional, super cute Christmas wreath for your front door. What do you guys think? There's really nothing simpler about making a beautiful Christmas wreath than creating it with a foam base, because you can just insert those flowers and create a beautiful statement on your front door. But now I'm going to share with you a beautiful Christmas wreath DIY that is traditional and a little bit more country. So let's take a look. Okay, so step number 1 in creating a beautiful wreath for your front door is going to be to prep it. And to do that, I'm gonna grab an 18 gauge wire, actually it's a 22, and also my florist tape. And you guys know that I like to cover my wires with this waxy tape that you can find at any local craft store. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. Actually, even Walmart has some of this florist tape. And what you do is you put your tape right here on your finger, you start raveling your wire, you pull back down, because when you pull down is when it becomes tacky. It has this wax that allows it to become tacky. And then the reason of all of this is so when you pull it through, it doesn't hurt your fingers. I have hurt my fingers before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this wire right here, about a quarter of it down. Oh, it went through my ring. That's so funny. All right, so I'm gonna go down, then I'm gonna grab and go up, and I'm going to swirl these two together like this to create a loop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go back down again, and this is where it becomes tricky, because you have to create a loop for your door hanger. This is where we are going to be hanging our wreath from. As you guys can see, there's a loop right here, so that's why you hang it from. If this was my door hanger, I just set it right there. But the purpose of the video, I'm gonna make it like this. I do have to put it down because this is going to go on my shop. I want to show you how you make it, and then if you want to visit my shop, you'll be able to. I'll tell you more about that later. But because I want it to be very substantial, if you guys are making this to sell or to give away, you want to do it the proper way. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add a garland right about here, and you'll see in a second why. And then I'm gonna grab some of my black zip ties, and I'm going to go through the grapevine wreath, and I'm going to start attaching this garland on place. And sometimes these things go the other way. You know, they have to go the right way so you can pull on them. So you go like that, really tight, and then I'm gonna grab my wire cutters, and I'm going to cut right here. And I'm gonna do about 4 points. You know, when I talk about points, they are the points of attachment. That's where you're going to insert your zip tie and attach into the grapevine, because we're gonna use this to attach other items. Think about having a wreath, a PVC wreath that is just bristles. Well, in this occasion, I want this look right here because it's gonna be a little bit more on the countryside. So I wanted to have that rustic look to it. And I don't wanna say country, more like rustic. It's gonna be a little bit more rustic looking, and I'll explain in a minute why. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna attach my 3rd point right here. And as you guys can see, it's super easy. All you have to do is pull that zip tie back onto the vine, and then pull really tight, as tight as you can, because you don't want it to come crashing down on you. And you want it to look kind of like a groove from it. All right, so now we're gonna fluff our PVC a little bit like this, so it looks intentional. So now what I'm going to do, step number 2 is going to add our mesh. So step number 1, prepping our wreath form for attachment, and now we're going to attach all of our items. And I'm gonna start with this gorgeous material that is like a deco mesh, but look how pretty this is. It looks like burlap, and for that, what I'm going to do, I'm gonna let it drop on the floor. I didn't want to do that, but should I do it on the table? No, I'm gonna let it drop on the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna attach right here, like this, and then I'm gonna go back because you don't want to see this right here on the bottom. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna attach the first loop and fold it like this. Then using two of these PVCs, what you're going to do is you're going to attach like that and just fluff this guy right here. And now what we're going to do is we're gonna do loops about, I want to say probably about 5 inches. You don't want them to be too poofy. You don't want it to be too poofy because you don't want all the items that we're going to put on top of this to get lost. So once again, another 5 inches, and look how that is changing the look of our grapevine, but this is going to also be helpful to attach other items. So what I'm going to do is continue going down, doing 5-inch loops. Look how pretty that is. I love how rustic this mesh material is. It is soft to the touch. It doesn't really cling on to anything. Most mesh materials cling on to, even this shirt will be clinging on to it, and sometimes it just will unravel the threads and it's just not a good look. Let me put it that way. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue making this, and I'll be right back to show you the next step. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so as you guys can see, I put this on the table because I have to go back the other way, so it looks very intentional, and I didn't want to cut the mesh. If you cut the mesh, you have to start over by flipping, and as you guys can see, just by flipping right here, I was able to have a finished look without having to cut this mesh. This mesh is really affordable. Actually, I was shocked to see how affordable it is. If you know, I'm for the first time I'm doing these wreaths for sale. You guys can visit my Etsy shop. I'm gonna leave a link down below so you can see all the wreaths that I have there. But I have known a lot of people. Actually, I have top people who make this for sale. And when you sell your wreaths, you want to make sure that they are perfectly finished and then they're not gonna come crashing down on your customers, even if you make them to give away. And so I always tell people, you know, it takes a little bit longer to do it the right way, but it's going to last a long time versus us just trying to make it really quick because we want to be quick. So that's not how it works. So you have to be very intentional, especially if you are making them for your shop like I am this time. All right, so I have come to the end. So now I'm going to cut right here and I'm going to show you another trick real quick. So because I couldn't fold right here, so what we're going to do is we're gonna fold this in half, and let me move this bristle real quick like this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my scissors, and with the end of my scissors, I'm just gonna push that in to my form, and you won't see it, so it looks finished right now. All right, let me get ready for the next step, and I'll be right back. All right, so far we've prepped our wreath form. We added the garland and also this beautiful mesh material that covers some of that greenery. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make our gorgeous bow. And for that, I'm going to need our wire to be covered one more time. And you know, you can do this all at once at first if you want to. I like to make it as I go because it kind of keeps me on kind of like a schedule of the things that I'm doing. But as I mentioned to you before, creating a first impression always starts at the door, you guys. So whether it is for Christmas or whether it is for fall or spring or summer, a beautiful wreath or swag on your front door can make a difference. I love driving by people's homes and seeing their wreaths on the door because to me it really means like they are ready to greet somebody at the door. So that's why I love to teach how to make beautiful wreaths and swags here on my YouTube channel. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to make a beautiful bow, and I've selected this pretty burlap ribbon that I'm going to drop on the floor. And I like to start with, actually, you know what, I'm lying to you. I'm going to start with I'm going to put that one right here. I'm going to start with the smallest ribbon, which is going to be this one right here. And always start by dovetailing your ribbon because it is more convenient if you just do that than having to go back to dovetail. So I'm going to give it probably about 5 inches. And then you're gonna pinch. I wanna do about 6-inch loops. So I'm gonna pinch right here one more time. And then I'm going to twist. This one I won't have to twist because it's printed on both sides, but I always just get on the habit of doing it. So that way when you have a ribbon that you have to twist, you don't forget, because if you don't do the twisting, then you don't get the beautiful printed side on the top. All right, so as you guys can see, I have 2. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna actually do, I'm gonna do 4 of each, like that. And then I'm gonna twist, I'm gonna bring it back up, and I'm gonna cut this one right here. I'm gonna give it a tail like that. So now I'm gonna introduce my burlap, and I'm gonna start with a tail as well. And you put it right under the other one, and then you start pinching like that. And I'm going to go under and right about the same, maybe a little bit longer, but just a little bit, so there can be a variation. So then I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm going to pinch like that. And then I'm going to twist. And now what you need to do when you twist is you go to the other side. So that way you create the bow. You have to start creating the bow. So that way when you go to attach and fluff, you don't have to really wrestle. You could still do it, but you're really gonna have to wrestle your ribbon. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here. My boss used to say, stop while you're ahead. And I have quite a lot of ribbon that I'm going to be using to make some other tails. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put it to the side. And now I'm going to attach this with a zip tie, because if you attach it with a zip tie, it really stays together versus with a wire, it can come undone. And so what we're going to do is we're gonna drive a zip tie like this and just pull really, really tight until you can pull no longer, no further. And so now what you need to do is you need to start fluffing this bow like this, like this. Make sure that you're really pulling them so it looks intentional. And before I attach it, what I'm going to do is dovetail all these ends, make sure they look pretty and finished. This is a smaller size bow because we're going to attach some tails in a minute that I'm going to show you. There's going to be a lot of bows, but to begin with, we want to start with just a smaller bow to kind of have a focal point. So now that we have our pretty bow like this, I'm going to grab that wire that I taped, and I'm going to go back and make sure that I have about the same on both sides, and I'm gonna give it a really tight spin to it. And now I'm going to attach my bow right about here. I want it to be not in the middle, not on the top. So probably about, what time you say this is, Jameson? About 10 o'clock, maybe? 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, so you put it right about 10 o'clock. Thumbs up for Jameson, who's been my cameraman today, yay! I told him I needed help because sometimes when I'm trying to shoot multiple videos in a day, like I am today, you guys, because Christmas season is here, we have to be fast. So thumbs up for Jameson. All right, so now that you have spin all of this like this, once again, what you need to do is put that right here, and with your scissors, you want to get rid of the excess of that wire, and just push it right there into your form, and you will never see it. That way, in case you had to unattach your bow, you have that wire. If you were to cut it, you'd have to start over with a bow. All right, so now I'm gonna split these two right here. As you guys can see, it's a sweet little bow, but there's going to be more. Don't worry about it, there's gonna be more. I just wanted to have a focal point right here. I'm gonna put that up a little bit. I need to have a focal point to where things are going to radiate from, and then later on, we're gonna go back and attach more bows. You guys will see how beautiful this will look at the end. All right, so now I'm gonna get all of my greeneries ready, and I'll be right back to give you the next step, so keep watching. All right, you guys, so I have 3 different types of greenery. I have this really long one that I'm gonna be cutting down. I have this gorgeous one with all of these mixed beautiful pines and greeneries and stems that I'm gonna take apart, and then I have one that I already pre-cut because I wanna show you the whole step. So I'm gonna put this right here. And then I also brought out my beautiful pick machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with this one right here, and I'm just gonna cut them off of the stem. These usually have a cut where you're supposed to cut, and so I just go with that because I'm gonna pick it anyway, so might as well just follow the pattern on this stem right here. And when you have a long stem like this, you wanna save these ones because we might have another project later on. All right, so then what you do is these long one, even the long ones right here, have a cut where they would like you to cut to make multiple look instead of having just one long one. And I'm gonna look for the other long one right here. I'm gonna show you again. It has this cut right under. It's like a joint, and then you cut it, and now you have 4 instead of 2. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's good to know how many you have. That way you know how many you have to insert. So we're gonna start with the top, and I'm going to pick my, I'm gonna move my cup right there. Pick my stem. As you guys can see, it gives you that steel pick, and I'm gonna get my hot glue gun closer to me so that I can work. And so what I like to do is just put a lot of glue and let it run down. And I'm gonna start right here on the top. I'm gonna lift my bow and I'm gonna drive through. Just make sure the dust go on the form so it doesn't detach from it, and it's gonna last a long time. A lot of people have asked me, Ramon, do you like hot glue gun or hot glue pellets? I'm gonna be honest with you, I like them both. But for wreaths, because they are for sale, you wanna use a hot glue gun because it dries clear. If you're trying to bond to something that is not visible, then of course the hot glue pen is best for you. But as for me, for this particular project, I like the gun because it doesn't show if it dries, to where the hot glue pen, it just dries yellow. And especially I've seen people work where they put it on white, like on flux, and it just looks awful. Awful, awful, awful. So what you need to do, remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. So I added 2 right here, and then I went ahead and added 2 right here. I'm gonna add 1 coming down because we're gonna put some tails onto these wreaths. I'm into this type of wreath right now, you guys. If you go to my shop, you'll see a lot of the wreaths that have a bow and then tails going down. It almost looks like a swag, and I just think they're so beautiful. They're so simple and elegant at the same time. And see how they're coming from the same. And now I'm gonna put the last one over here. And I'm gonna save 2 because you guys know that I like to save 2 for the end. All right, we're gonna add 1 last one right here going with the motion. So now time to explain something real quick. You have your bow right here. This is your core. That's what everything needs to radiate from. If you go down, you have to go all in one direction. If you go up, you have to go all in one direction. And I'll explain more about that as we go, but that's the way that it's going to radiate, okay? All right, so now we're gonna go back to our bows. I'm gonna get my ribbons back into the picture and I'll be right back. We'll add the rest of this in 1 second. Okay, 2 things. Remember I told you we're gonna continue with the bow, and so now is the time to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my wooden stakes with a wire. These you can find at any local craft store. I'm gonna get 2 because I'm most likely we're gonna need 2. So I'm gonna grab 2 of those, and you can find them at Hobby Lobby, or I think even Walmart. It's a floral supply, or your florist. You can always go to your local florist. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this guy right here, and then I'm gonna grab my other check ribbon, and yes, the shirt was intentional, and I'm gonna layer them like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna measure probably about 18 inches, probably 20 inches, and then I'm going to cut just because it'll be easier to manipulate than if we had, you know what, no, I'm gonna do it the hard way. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put it flat like this, then I'm gonna grab one of my stakes, put it on my hand, and I'm going to pinch right here. I'm going to introduce this stake right here, and then I'm going to swirl this really, really tight into my stake. That's what these are for, all right? So now I'm going to add a little bit of glue right here where the wire is, so it kind of glues in together. And what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab some glue and just smear it on my stake. And I'm going to go right here without trying not to burn myself, which I have in the past. I'm gonna introduce that stake going up into the form. So now I have my tails like this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a big loop, and then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to pinch, and with those bristles, that's why I put that garland in there, you guys. So that way you can manipulate. Grabbing my garland, I'm going to twist like this, and that's gonna stay right there. And I'm gonna cut right here. So I'm gonna cut 1 tail, 2 tails. And I'm going to, of course, dovetail so it looks finished. Look how cute this is. Look at that. And because this is a thinner ribbon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again. So now once again, I'm gonna grab my burlap ribbon, and then I'm going to grab my ribbon, my plat ribbon, grab my stake with a wire. I saw the stake with a wire and I said wire. Isn't that funny how the brain works? You swirl this around really, really tight. You grab your hot glue gun and put a little bit just there on the joint to glue it all together. And then you want to add, I'm gonna get my little dish closer. Smear it all over the place. Now we're gonna lift right here, and we're gonna go about the same point, and we're going to go up into the form like that. Ow, ow, ow. All right. And you want to pinch right here once again. And now I'm going to go right here. And then I'm going to twist like this. Look how cool that is. See, I told you that the bow would continue. And so now for this one, I'm going to cut it maybe a little bit shorter than the other ones. And we'll dovetail in a second. But I decided that I'm also going to do one going on the top, because what goes up must come down. Remember, whatever you do on the bottom, you do on the top, and whatever you do on the left, you do on the right. If you want your wreath or arrangement or Christmas tree or swag or whatever it is that you're doing to be balanced, right? So once again, you sort all of this. We add just a little bit of glue. Now, these are the things that I learned, you guys, working as a florist for over 15 years. Yes, I worked as a florist for 15 years, and now I get to show you and teach you all the tricks of the trade. All right, so we're gonna push that into the form. So now I have my ribbons, and I'm going to pinch right here. This is the hard one because you have to do it upside down. Let me see. And then I'm going to grab my bristles at the very end, and I'm going to attach all of this together like that. And then I'm gonna cut some tails on this side. I'm gonna cut like that, we'll take care of that. So now first I'm gonna dovetail these guys a little shorter. You want them to stagger up, so like that. And then I'm gonna dovetail this one. Look how cute that is. Of course, we're not even done yet, but. All right, so now we're gonna do this one. We're gonna do them both at the same time, right? The wrong way, like that. We'll be back to fluff at the end, but look how cute this is, you guys. All right, so now it looks like the bow has continued, and then we're gonna add some tails at the end, but we'll get to that in a second. So now I'm gonna get the rest of my florals and my greenery ready, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. Okay, so now that we've established our focal point or radiating point, what we're going to do is we're going to add these beautiful picks. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a florist knife, and these are taped down. What you wanna do is you wanna go ahead and just do that to that tape. And when you cut down, just cut against you. Don't never do it towards you. So that way you can get rid of all of that tape that is holding all of this beautiful product together. These are premium picks, you guys. I wish you could see them in person. They look so real. They are like molded to a real pine. Oops, a tag. We don't want that. And you just have to like pull them apart like this, and look, they just kind of pull apart, and you can then distribute all of this beautiful product into your wreath. So now we have all those pretty things. But I'm gonna start with this beautiful pine with a red berry to kind of continue with the color of our theme, which is a little bit more rustic. And also the pine is very rustic to me. It reminds me of when I lived in Kansas, all of that pine there. All right, so now I'm gonna do is put a pick on it, add some glue, and then I'm gonna start right here on the bottom, just opening my ribbons. What I'm going to do is add some of that pine. Remember, what goes up must come down, and you have to know how many you have, so that way you distribute throughout your wreath evenly. So I started on the bottom, now I'm gonna go on the top, adding some glue. Ooh, I'm having so much fun with this hot glue gun. Isn't that funny? I'm gonna go right here, like that. And then I'm gonna grab one more. Remember, I have 5, so I have to know that one on the top, one on the bottom, and then we're gonna go back to a radiating point and insert some from there. If you guys don't have a pick machine, let me tell you, get one. If you are doing this for a business, it really does help to create beautiful, beautiful product, and you don't have to struggle a lot, which if you try to make my job easier, I'm all for that. And when I worked in the flower industry, this was one of the first tricks that I learned. It helps with your mechanics, and then you don't have to struggle into poking into the grapevine. All right, so I have one here. I'm gonna go and add one right over here. And because it has that steel, then it really does help to poke in. See how it's all radiating? So I have one, I actually have 2 left, so yay. Yay for me. And for whoever gets this one. You guys, I'm having so much fun putting all of these wreaths on Etsy, and thank you so much to everybody that has bought one. I am so excited to know that there's people out there in Illinois with a Ramon at home wreath. It just means so much to me that you guys are actually supporting my little adventure. And the reason why I did it is because you guys can continue to ask, do you sell that? Do you sell that? Well, now I do. So go visit the shop. Like I said, that link is going to be down below. And there's so many pretty ones right now. All right, so I'm going to now add one right here to finish. I'm going to put some glue in here. And I'm going to go right about here. Just make sure you push that really good. And look how good that looks. Now, the reason why this works is because this is a rustic look, right? So you have to be a little bit more on the pine side. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce my beautiful poinsettias with the jingle bells. And I'm going to fluff them a little bit so they're a little bigger. I'm only going to add 2. Even the poinsettia, I'm going to cut and add a pick to it. Because like I said, the pick makes it so much easier. It won't bend. If you try to put the stem of the poinsettia just in the form, it'll bend and it'll be so hard for you guys to do that. So what I'm going to do is just add some glue to my pick. I'm gonna grab my poinsettia from the middle of it. I'm gonna go right here. And I'm going to add her right in here, like that. And then we fluff like this. And so I'm gonna add the other one right here. And I'll tell you, I have 3, but I'll tell you why I only want to use 2 in just 1 second. You don't wanna take away from that bow, number 1. And number 2, we're still going to use the third one, but we're going to use it in a very different way. So I'm gonna add this guy right here. And see how that kind of becomes part of the bow? You can fluff like that. We have our bow, we have our poinsettias. And now what I'm going to do with this particular one, I'm going to grab my knife once again, and I want to take it apart. So I'm going to make sure that I don't cut myself. First of all, be careful when you do stuff like this. But this, you know, we used to use these flowers for corsage work, and so that's where I learned how to do these things, where we used to be creative and just take things apart. And so then what you can do is pull these guys like this. And so we're gonna just take the whole, the first one is the hard one, but look, once you start taking it apart, then you can literally just pull that wire and they came right out. I think maybe 1 more, 2 more, that'll be it. All right. So what you wanna do with these guys right here is bend the wire down. You're gonna put a little pick on it. And we're gonna individually insert these guys into our wreath. So I'm gonna put some up here. Let's see. Like that, see, it's gonna now extend the shape of our wreath or our poinsettias, but you have to make sure that you put a pick because we want to have something that goes into the form and attaches to the rest of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one right here. Look at that. And so I'm gonna do, this is so much fun. I'm having a blast coming up with these ideas for you guys. And I really hope, I cannot wait to read your comments. So let me know, have you guys ever replicated any of the looks here on the channel? What I like to do sometimes is like add 2, but just make sure you stagger them like that. Let me see, I'm gonna add some under the bow. I always like to add something on the bow, so that way it looks more full. And look how fast it is. This is not taking me more than like, however this video lasts is how much or how long I took to make this wreath, you guys. So if I can do it, let me tell you, so can you. All right, let's see. I'm gonna add, should I add the jingle bells? Maybe in the middle of the bow. I decided that's what I want, I'm in the middle of the bow. So we're gonna split it and put those jingle bells, but we'll do it at the end. Don't let me forget, Jamison. Be like, hey, the jingle bells. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna add another one right here by the bow. Look at that, it's just creating that. It's adding all of the plaid and all of the rustiness that this wreath needs. And I'm gonna leave a few at the end so that way we can continue to add, which to me is, you know, this one I didn't get the pick, so I'm gonna put it on the side and do another one while that dries. If it didn't get the pick and you put glue on it, you guys, just put it on the side because you do not wanna put that on your pick machine because your pick machine will get glue all over it and then it's a mess. Let me just say that. All right, so add some glue to that. And I'm going to add one probably right here, like that. All right, so now I'm going to add some of this beautiful greenery, which is what's gonna really give it that rustic look, because it's all this rusty color greenery. It has that variegation to it, and it's just going to look so beautiful. And with this, what I'm going to do is, just keep in mind, what goes up must come down. So be sure to add all of those in a manner where you go one up, one down, one up, one down. And we have 2 of each because I had 2 picks. So keep in mind, if you put one up, make sure you put one down. So right now I'm gonna add the cedar, the flat cedar, and the berry up here on the top. I'm gonna go with this guy right here, all the our cap. And look at that, oh, it's so pretty. So now I'm gonna look for the other berry. I think this is a juniper. It is so beautiful. It's so realistic. I'm gonna grab this juniper, and as you guys can see, that's why when you buy from anyone that sells handmade, is because every single piece is put by hand. And so unlike other places where you might go and buy it already made, which a machine made it, when you buy from a seller, then you're making sure that every single piece is touched by the hand, is put through the pick machine, is put through the glue. And so it's just one of a kind, because even if I was to make 2 of the same, it won't turn out the same, just because we won't place on the same spot. Look how pretty that is. Oh, it's so gorgeous. All right, so let me see. Now I'm gonna add this beautiful one right here. And I want it right under the bow to kind of give me some dimension. So I'm going to pick, I'm gonna cut the excess of this. We're almost done, so keep watching. I'm gonna finish this and I'll be right back with you. Okay, you can cut for now. Okay, so before we finish this wreath, I wanna explain that I left 2 of this right here, and I went ahead and picked them together. Then also I'm gonna add some of these berries that is just gonna throw it over the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the last 2 of my plaid poinsettia foliages, and I'm going to go ahead and go all the way here to extend the shape of that plaid, and look at that, just like that. And so I'm gonna do 1 in the bottom as well. Oh, I already picked it. And I'm gonna add the glue to the pick like this, and I'm going to add right about here, inserting into my form. Ow, I just burned myself. Then you separate those like that. And so now you have all that going all the way down. Now these berries right here are also just taped together. So what we want to do is, let me see if I can just pull them apart. Sometimes they're so easy to pull apart. If you just pull like that, oh yeah, look at that. How easy is that? So we're gonna pull apart 2, 3, so now we're gonna have 6 of them that we're gonna be able to add to our tree. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna cut a little bit of that. I want them to be a little bit shorter. And remember, everything radiates from our bow, so we're gonna start from our bow going down and up. So I'm gonna grab one like this, and I'm gonna add some glue, and once again, right there at the bow, what I'm going to is I'm gonna lift up everything I have, and I'm just gonna add that cute little berry. And make sure that goes on the form for sure. There you go. So there's one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one side first, but I'm always going to remember that what goes up must come down. And since I already know that I only have 6, then I need to make sure that I put 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And then also stagger them like this. And then I'm gonna do, of course, one over here. We're gonna. Jingle bells, right? These are not the jingle bells. Okay. These are just the berries. We'll put the jingle bells in, but we're gonna make sure that that's gonna be our last little touch. So I'm gonna lift up all of this. I'm gonna add this one right here. And look how that just changed the look. It gave it that little glitter with the snow. Make sure you cut a little short. And also 2 things. Make sure that it comes from the bow, stagger it as a ladder motion, and then go up and down. So now we're gonna lift up our bow right here, and we're going to add this guy right here. Make sure that goes into the form like that, and just adds a little bit of berry. And so now I have 2 left, and I'll do those 2. I'll add the jingle bells, I'll put it on the door and show you what it looks like. So keep watching. All right, you guys, so the last thing is I'm gonna add those jingle bells so you don't think that I forgot them. And so I'm gonna open my bow and I'm just gonna go ahead and insert that right there, right in the middle. So it comes out of our bow, fluff the little bows. What I wanna do is I'm also going to adjust my tail. So I feel like these are too long. I'm gonna cut them a little short. I don't want them to compete with the rest of it. Also this one right here, like that. This one I'm gonna cut a little short so I can open my poinsettia. At this point, you just can basically rearrange everything, fluff everything, like my poinsettia right here. And just like that, we have a beautiful rustic wreath that I'm gonna put on the door and show you what it looks like. As you guys can see, this is a more rustic design that I came up with a lot of these beautiful buffalo check plaid ribbons and poinsettias with the jingle bells as the center. It has some mixture of pine and cedar and some beautiful berries with a frosted glitter, and they are absolutely gorgeous. This is such a rustic look. If you are more into the country, farmhouse, or just rustic, this is perfect for you, and I really hope that you like it as much as I did. All right, you guys, so now for the next DIY, I'm going to share with you how to create a very inexpensive, super affordable wreath for your front door using one of the dollar store wreath forms and some items from Walmart for the dollar store and leftover things that I already had around the house. First of all, I have a block of foam, so what I need is a little square of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut through, and look, it just cuts like butter. I'm gonna put this guy over here because I don't need it right now. So you're gonna be left with a square like this. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to be very generous with our glue, and we're going to glue all of this right here. Just be generous because we wanna make sure that we can attach it to our wreath form right here. You might wanna push a little bit, but then also I'm gonna grab some ribbon and I'm just gonna go like this. I'm going to go through right here, and then I'm going to attach using one hand. Look at this. Then you pull really tight like that. And we might want to leave those tails hanging. Actually, I'm going to do a double knot just to make sure that it's secure so that when it's on my door, it doesn't really come falling apart like this. And we can leave those tails as tails. I'm not sure yet. We're going to see what we want to do. All right, so far we need a piece of foam right here because that's where we are going to add some of our greeneries. And for that, I have this stem of greenery, and believe it or not, you guys, this I found at the Goodwill store. One day I was there, and I'm always looking for things that I may be able to use for the DIYs because, well, I do so many of them that sometimes I'm just trying to find affordable ways to do it so I can show you. All right, so I'm gonna add a few of those sprigs. Don't be afraid to cut them, and just need to make sure that you find that joint and cut right there for maximum usage. I think that'll be good. I'm gonna put that one over there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start inserting some of this greenery. And the way you wanna do it is you wanna make sure that you have some spilling forward like this. You wanna try and cover as much as you can from that foam with the smaller ones or the shorter ones. And then the long ones, you wanna make sure that they spill up and down. So that way you have a little bit of drama. Remember, I told you the other day on the Wreaths video, if you have not seen the Wreaths video, you guys, I'm not just saying that. We put out 3 wreaths on this video, and we had a beautiful colorful one. We had a red traditional one, and then we had a gold and rose gold one, and I gave you full instructions on how to create those wreaths. So I'm gonna link that video down below. If you have not seen it, I really recommend to go check it out. If you like watching wreath making videos, because I gave you all of the tips. And on that video, I gave you permission to be dramatic when it comes down to your decor, because you only get one chance in the holiday season to really make your home decor stand out. So might as well just go ahead, like they say, go bold or don't bother. You know, I'm gonna tell you a story. So one time I worked at a furniture store, and there was this girl that, well, she didn't like me. I don't know why, because I really thought she was really nice. But she was in charge of the merchandising, right? And one time we were doing this live show, and I, of course, I'm a little bit over the top. I'm known for that. She didn't like that. And so she came to me and she said, you know what, Ramon, sometimes less is more. And I just looked at her. I was like, no. I said, less is less and more is more. And she walked off. And so that's what my style is all about, over the top, because we only get one time, like I said to you guys, during the holiday season to really let our creativity run and to be creative and as fancy and as dramatic as you want to be. So go for it. I'm here to give you permission for that. All right, so basically what I've done so far is I just cover some of that foam with some of these greeneries on that particular corner of my wreath. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of my ribbon and I'm going to do some tails. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tail like this, and I'm going to bring it forward like this, and then I'm going to do two tails like that, a long one and a short one. So what I want to do now is I'm going to open my drawer, and I know I have some little stakes right here. Yes, I have one. So the ones that have the wire, what you want to do is you want to grab that wire and go through it, and then just go around like this. And you can find these stakes with a wire at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, where the florist supplies are. It's a florist supply. I'm gonna get one out. I think I have two. I think that's good. And so I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to cut my tail right about here. So this is what it's going to look like. So you have two tails, and then I'm going to insert this guy right here like this. And it's gonna give us this loop, this tail, this other tail. I'm gonna cut this short like that. And so now I'm gonna grab more of the same ribbon, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to pinch, this one I'm gonna make it a little longer. So about this much. And then you're going to do another loop right here, twist it like this. You wanna make sure that you have both tails facing forward. Without letting go of where you pinch, you're gonna grab your stake with a wire, you're gonna go around and pull, and then you ravel that on the leftover wire on the stake. So you have this tail. So I'm gonna dovetail right about here. And so now what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna bring my bow forward, actually this one. You want the longer tail to be on the back, and then you're going to have that loop going like this. So I'm gonna add this other one right here on the other side, like this. So you have two tails, and this creates a bow like you can see, but it's very separated. And that's what I want. I want it to be separated because we're going to add some poinsettias over on the middle to cover that. And I got this at the dollar store. What I like to do is I like to cut them all at once like this. Get rid of that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of these beautiful red poinsettias right here. Some of them longer ones, some of them short ones. So for the short ones, just be sure to cut a little shorter. And we're going to add all of that right here in the middle. Like that one didn't go quite through. There you go. And I'm going to, this longer one, I'm going to add over on the back to kind of spill forward this way. And then I'm going to attach this one right here, going down. Look how that just created a focal point, and our bow looks separated like this. So now I'm going to continue attaching. If you are on a budget, this type of wreath is definitely for you. These items are only about $1.25, so you can really add as many or as little as you like. And then this one, I'm going to go ahead and go put it down. At this point, you can add that glue to it if you like to make it stay. Like I said, I just make these ones to show you guys, so I am going to unravel it later. But now I'm gonna add some leftover berries that I had. So now I'm gonna add some of these gold berries, making sure that I insert in that foam. And some of the longer ones, you may want to have them spill down. And for that, you have to insert from the bottom. This one right here, because I have a poinsettia on this side, I'm gonna grab this really long one and I'm going to go over to this side, like that. And then I have this other long one, so I'm gonna go over to this side. Make sure that you do what happens on the left, happens on the right. and what goes up must come down. It doesn't matter how much your project is. If you follow those simple steps, you can create something beautiful on a budget, you know. And so if you just follow those steps, I always tell you what happens on the left happens on the right. What goes up must come down, and look how absolutely stunning. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some of the gold, and for that I have a few leftover fern. They super glitter, really, really pretty in gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this guy right here, one up and then one down. Why? Because what goes down, what goes up must come down. So now I'm going to open right here. I'm gonna add this one right here into my foam. And look, just a sprig, just a touch, it really adds a lot. So I'm gonna do the same with this red one. I'm gonna go all the way to the back and I'm gonna add it right there. And then I'm going to go down on the bottom and I'm going to add it also from the bottom, but going down. And that's elongated. And look how big this arrangement just got by adding all of that. And so now I have a few of these really pretty gold ornaments that come on this stick with the foliage. Well, you know what? I'm gonna take the foliage out because I just want the ornaments. And this came from some sprigs from Walmart. And you know, one of those that has like all of the greeneries and like the poinsettias and things like that. Well, you don't have to use all of it. Like on that particular arrangement, I just cut the ornaments, but I do like them, just not for that particular project. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut one short and I'm going to add one right here, making sure that I go on my foam. At this point it's getting tight, so you have to make sure that you hear that going in the foam. And then on this particular one, I'm gonna cut a little longer. I'm gonna give it a curvature and then I'm gonna go from the bottom. So I want them together. I have to grab this right here. Sorry if I disappear my face, but I have to make sure that that goes in the foam. Like that. So now I'm going to give this a flap. I'm gonna put it on the door and show you how stunning something so affordable can look. Keep watching. All right, so this is how simple it is to make a statement on your front door with only a few dollars. Look at this gorgeous bouquet right here on this diamond-shaped wreath from the dollar store. All of the materials are super affordable. Some I already had in hand, so you can really let your creativity run when you're doing this type of wreaths, because it is basically just all of the scraps that you have from other projects, you guys. I know that you too can create a gorgeous wreath like this for your front door, and I cannot wait to read your comments. So be sure to leave me a comment down below. All right, you guys, so that was super simple to make. I know that if I can do this wreath, anyone can. The steps are so clear and the arrangement at the bottom really makes a statement. But now we're gonna take a look at a beautiful snowman wreath DIY that I love sharing with you. And I just hope that you will give it a try because it is really elegant, easy to make, and it really makes a statement on your front door. Let's take a look at this beautiful snowman wreath DIY for Christmas. All right, you guys, so we're going to create a gorgeous snowman theme wreath step by step. This is gonna be done in reds and whites and silver, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I really think you're gonna learn a lot on this particular wreath. So some of the things that we're going to use is going to be, of course, a wreath form, and right now it's flat because we're gonna have to fluff it. We're going to use this plaque that we're going to put on the center. We're going to decorate around it. I have a selection of big ornaments and smaller ornaments that we're going to cluster within a wreath. We're going to use some deco material to make our wreath girthier. So I'm gonna explain that as we go. I'm going to also use some of these beautiful poinsettias in red and white. I'm gonna use some gorgeous berries also that are frosted in red and white. I cannot wait for you guys to see this. I'm gonna use my favorite pick, and I have some news, you guys. This is going to be on my shop next year. We went ahead and ordered some of this, and next year, because it is my favorite fern pick, we're gonna have it on the shop, so you will be able to get it next year for Christmas. And then also we're gonna use some clusters right here with ornaments and peppermint candies, as well as our beautiful ribbons. I thought that for this one we use a black scripted to go with the hat on the snowman. And then also I have a variety of silver ribbons, so we make it shimmer and sparkle. And our accent ribbon is going to be this beautiful red with a white stripe. And as you guys can see, all of this is creating a story that I cannot wait to tell you with this beautiful wreath. So if you are interested, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends because that really helps the channel. If you want to learn more about wreath making, keep watching. And don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss what's coming up next in the channel. All right, let me clear up all of this, bring my pick machine out, get my hot glue ready and hot, and I'll be right back to give you step number 1. Keep watching. All right, so when creating a beautiful Christmas wreath step by step, you have to kind of follow some guidelines, and mine is always to fluff my wreath. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the box, and you guys, this is not a good look. So basically what you have to do is I start on the back and I pull all of those bristles back. Now here's the secret, you have to do it all in one motion. So you just have to pull those bristles as you continue to rotate this wreath form like this. Once you get all of the back ones ready, then we're gonna move to the front ones, but the front ones I like to do the opposite way, and that way is what's gonna give it the fullness to the wreath. So because this is a tedious process and it's kind of boring actually, to be honest, I'm gonna do this off camera and I'll be right back with you to share with you step number 2. Keep watching. All right, so now that our wreath is fully fluffed, I'm going to go ahead and do step number 2, which is going to be to add our mesh material. And for that, I'm gonna go a little bit this way. I have did I just say selection? I have selected a red mesh material. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start right here in the bottom. And what I like to do when I start is I pinch right here and I put my mesh facing inward. So that way, when I start weaving my mesh, you don't see that unfinished edge. So basically what you do is you do about, I wanna say about 3 to 6 inch loops. They need to be really tight because I don't want it to be too fluffy because we're going to add a whole bunch of picks. So basically you wanna give it some body like this. You want to come here and pinch, swirl those bristles and make sure the one goes forward, and I'll tell you why later. So once again, we're gonna do some loops like this. You guys, if you are doing mesh wreaths to sell or if you're making them to give away to your family or friends, I really do recommend to follow these steps because that's going to guarantee that these mesh loops are going to stay in place forever. So what you have to do is put your mesh in and then grab those 2 bristles and give them 2 spins, not just one, because if you do just one, sometimes with the time they just get loose as you move them, and well, you don't want your customers or your family and friends to just have a loose loop. It's not cute, let me tell you. It's happened to me before. I'm telling you this by trial and error. So it is just better if you do 2 loops like this, or I'm sorry, 2 swirls of the ribbon and 2 swirls of the bristle. All right, so I'm gonna continue doing this, and I just wanna take a second to thank all of you guys who have purchased my wreaths on my shop. I'm so excited. One went to Vegas, one went to Illinois. Those are the ones that I remember. And I'm just so thankful because it is my dream for everybody out there to have a Ramon at home wreath. And if you don't wanna make it, I really recommend to visit my shop. I'm gonna put a link down below. There is so many wreaths available right now. There's one with the elf, one with the penguin, and I'm actually gonna put a video at the end of this video so you guys can see all of the wreaths that we've made to give you some ideas on how you can make them, or if you want to get one special made by yours truly, well, you can do that now. That is the #1 request I got from you guys. Ramon, do you sell the things that you make? And the answer was no. Well, now you can get a Ramon at home custom-made wreath for your front door. And I just want to say thank you to every single one of you who has purchased one. It really makes me happy to know that my wreaths have gone all over the US. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue adding this all the way on the outer edge, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how it looks like with all of the mesh put together, or weaved in, as I like to say. I weaved in 2 rows of mesh right here, and you can find that mesh at Hobby Lobby or any other craft store. It really doesn't matter what kind of mesh, because guess what, we're gonna cover most of it with some of these beautiful ribbons. And I selected a beautiful silver one that I'm going to use to weave in one time around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut. First of all, I wanna mention that I always like to have my tools at the ready because they help me, well, be faster. So if you are making this, I used to have a boss who used to say, you are only as good as you are fast. And he taught me that you have to have all of your tools at the ready if you want to be fast. We used to make like hundreds of wreaths a season, and so one of the secrets was to be fast, and to be fast you have to have all of your tools at the ready. So if I can just, if what happens on the left happens on the right and what goes must come down, can you add to that, have your tools at the ready? You'll always be super fast and you'll be able to, well, create beautiful wreaths and trees and arrangements. So basically what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna do this beautiful ribbon, and I'm going to do loops of it all throughout because our theme is like a peppermint candy. So instead of adding white, because I feel like white would be too stark, I'm going to add some of this silver, and I'm gonna just go one time around, all the way around the wreath. And I'm having so much fun, you guys, sharing with you all of these ideas. My favorite, I have to say it right now, my favorite one so far has been the Grinch Christmas tree. If you have not seen the Grinch Christmas tree, which was like our last video, you have got to go check it out. It was so much fun. If you have kids or grandkids, which I've always said that Christmas is for the kids. You know, I used to love Christmas when I was a kid. Now as an adult, why I love it, because it's what I do for a living. But I remember being a child and just waiting for Christmas. And I remember I loved the lights and I loved everything about Christmas. And I don't know if you know, but the reason why I like Christmas so much, I don't know if I've told you this story before. I love telling it, but the reason why I love Christmas so much is because when I was a child, well, we grew up in Tijuana and we were very poor. You know, we didn't go without, but we definitely were not wealthy by any means. And I remember we never had a Christmas tree in our mom's house. And one year, my mom, I don't know what got onto her, but she bought a tiny 4-foot Christmas tree with multi-colored lights. And I just remember it was the most beautiful Christmas tree. She put on one of those chest of drawers, and it just looked so tall and so majestic, and with the twinkling lights. And I just remember I loved it. Well, my parents had 4 kids, right? And so it was kind of tough for them. Because, well, we were fairly poor, like I said, and one time my mother was not having it. Now as an adult, I recognize the sacrifice that my parents did to raise 4 of us, but I remember she was not having it. She was having a bad day, so she yanked that Christmas tree from the chest of drawers, ripped it from the wall, and it marched herself out to the trash bin and put it upside down, and I followed her the whole time. And I never forgot that. I tell her that story now, she laughs about it. She doesn't remember, but I never forgot it because it was kind of traumatizing. And so ever since I was like, you know what? When I grow up, I'm going to have a beautiful Christmas tree. And cut to me, these many years later, now this is what I do for a living. So I love it. All right, so now this is what that ribbon looks like. So we just did loops. That's our step number 2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my ribbons, which is going to be our statement ribbons. And I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so our next step is going to be to add our ribbons, and I want this plug to be right here on the middle. So I want to do 1 or 2 loops right here, and then I want to do another loop right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on the base, and it is easier, you guys, if you just do it flat because you can really control, and I have this Lazy Susan that really allows me to control. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dovetail this beautiful scripted ribbon that I'm absolutely in love with it. So basically just do a dovetail right here, and I'm gonna give it a big tail, and I'm gonna go all the way to the top, and then I'm going to serve like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bigger loop because this is our statement ribbon. So you really want your, if you're gonna hang it on your door, well, you wanna see the beautiful statement ribbon. And if you're going to make it to give away or to sell, then you really want that to be the one to show. So for that, you have to make your loops bigger and floppier. Just pinch like this, and then you go ahead and add it right here. Now, if this is not your theme, like I said, I have a plethora of videos on how to make beautiful statements on your front door with wreaths and swags. And last week we did one that was a very rustic one. And let me just tell you, it was so beautiful. It had all these poinsettias, they were plaid, this buffalo plaid. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty. That is the one that went to Vegas. And I'm super excited for her to get it because I cannot wait to read her comment on Etsy. And this one is also going to be available at the end of this video. So like you can see, I did 1 loop right here. So now I'm gonna switch to the other side and I'm gonna do the same. So basically just, I say basically a lot. Have you guys noticed that I say basically a lot? My catchphrase used to be like so, but I finally got over that one. And so now I say basically this, basically that, and I have got to get rid of that. But, or make a t-shirt with it, one of the two. All right, so I'm going to put this Jingle Bell beautiful scripted ribbon, and like I told you, reminder, make sure that you do those loops really floppy so they really show, and just continue to spin. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so beautiful, I cannot wait. If it turns out the way that I imagined it, I'm gonna continue weaving this down and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so I'm done adding my statement ribbon, and as you guys can see, the waves are really floppy, and I'm in love with it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add the bows, and I always like to add some bows to my wreaths to make it more festive. So what I like to do is I'm going to use this beautiful white and red stripe ribbon, as well as some of these really pretty glittery ribbon. And what I want you to do is just give a tail like this, and you know what, I'm gonna start with the other one because I'm telling you all to start with the one that is narrower. So I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna give it a tail a little bigger, probably about 4 inches. And then I'm gonna do a cute little bow and just a 2-loop bow. And that's what's gonna be our base for a ribbon. And don't forget, as always, I'm telling you to spin this so all of your glitter is showing right here. And then when you have that, what you're going to do is you're gonna add another ribbon on the bottom like this, and then you're going to do a loop, and probably about the same as the other one, so that way it's very cohesive. And don't forget to spin that around and then go down like this, and then we're going to cut right here. I'm gonna grab a wire and I'm gonna put this together very tightly. Once you have it tight like this, what you can do is fluff your bow. Make sure that you spin all of these tails around so you can really see all of that beautiful glitter like this. So you have this 4-loop bow, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with a wire, I'm gonna grab a bristle, and I'm gonna go as far down as I can on the bristle like this, and then I'm going to spin around once, spin around twice, and then we're going to fluff. And never forget to dovetail all of these guys right here. And look how beautiful, I don't know if you can tell how beautiful all of that glitter just sparkles. So I'm gonna cut all of my tails. I want them to be a little bit short. I don't want it to be taller than this because I don't like that look when the tails are just flapping way too far from the form. I just don't like that. I don't know why. I was never a fan of that. So basically like that, and look how beautiful that just added that stripe and that beautiful glitter on it. It's so pretty. So I'm gonna do another one. Once again, start with the one that is narrower. This is about 1.5 inches, and it really does help if you dovetail before you start. And so you do a little tail like this, and then you go down, pinch, twist. If you don't know how to make bows, I'm gonna link down below a video that I have that I show you step by step how to make a bow. I'm gonna cut right here, and then you grab the other one and you put it under it, and once again you just pinch like this, and you make a little loop, pinch, 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 fluff. And this is the trick, to spin like this, and then you once again make a bow like this. We're gonna cut right here, and look how this, you know, the beauty about having a handmade wreath is that every single piece gets touched. And what you can go out and buy a wreath somewhere at, let's say, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but those are done by a machine. So when you get, whether you make it or you give it for a gift, people need to understand that this is like every single wire, every single loop gets touched by a person. So that's why I love making them, and I just love giving them away to my family and members. I love the fact that you guys, like I said again, you guys are getting them from my shop. And just, you know, to think that some people out there have a Ramon at home wreath, it just makes me smile. That is a dream come true, and I could not be more grateful. All right, so now I'm gonna go in. Remember, what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna go over to this side, and I'm going to add this one right here, and just go all the way down. 1, 2, and then we fluff like this. And now keep in mind that our plaque is going to go right here, and we're gonna glue that in a second. So we want to make sure that we don't cover a lot of the plaque. So that's why I say I don't want those tails to be too big. And then also you can put it right here to kind of give you an idea of where you want a bow. Like I know I want one right here. I probably want one right here and one right here. So I'm gonna do 3 more, but I have the last bow and I feel like it needs to be somewhere over here. Actually, I'm gonna move it towards me so that I can see, because sometimes I cannot see what I'm doing and it just ends up being so cattywampus. So you have to stay away, a step away from your wreath when you're making it, just to make sure that it's very well balanced. I always preach balance. So this is the best way to do it. And to me, it's looking absolutely fantastic. Now, thumbs up for Jameson, who's in the back of the camera today helping. How does that look? Does that look good? Okay, can you see it very good? All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm gonna bring my hot glue gun that I have put over here. I'm gonna actually go all the way around. I'm gonna bring it over on this side because it's time to glue our plaque. And that's probably my favorite part about making a wreath. To do that, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you push some of these bristles down like this. Some of the ones that stay on the bottom, you need to bring them forward like this, because that's what we're going to use to glue our plaque. So this is my top. I decided what's gonna be my top. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my plaque right here, lifting my bows. I don't wanna get any of my bows. I'm gonna put it like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my hot glue gun. Now keep in mind that the glue that I have is Gorilla Hot Glue, and that's the only one that I like to use because it really hangs on to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on my plaque on the bigger places where I see it's going to latch on, right? So plenty of it, don't be shy. And then when you have your glue, be sure not to burn yourself, first of all. You're going to come up here and then you're going to place it like this and just push down. And that's gonna make sure that some of those bristles on the bottom are going to latch onto it and it's gonna stay like that. I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes and I'll be back because I have to let it sit. But if you have not seen the wreath with the poinsettias, I'm gonna link it down below for you guys to tune in later on when we're done with this one. Let it sit and I'll be right back. All right, so about 15 minutes have passed. That's how much how long I let it sit, and now it's pretty well stuck. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these larger ornaments. I love this one because it has the stripes and it goes well with the rest of the theme. And what I did is I added a wire, and so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna find the spot where I want some ornaments. Because I have 3, I kinda wanna do a triangle. Remember to always do a triangle, whether it's like this or whether it's like this. But for this particular one, I think I'm going to do, this is going to be like this. So I'm going to add one right here. Now I do want to go through all the way to the back. Let me see. And don't be afraid about flattening your bows because you can always fluff them at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go all the way to the back so that I can pull real tight. And then grabbing one of my bristles from the back, I'm going to swirl those two together. Let me find one. And this is where you can actually take it off the stand if you must. But because I am showing you how to do it, I have to find a way to just swirl those two together. There you go. And so now that ornament is going to stay there, but guess what? To double secure it, I got it. To double secure it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue to it because I want it to stay there forever. All right, so I'm gonna actually put this guy right here. And so I'm gonna add a second one. I have my wire already, so I'm gonna leave that one right there. Remember, this is gonna be my point of the triangle, so now I'm gonna go over to this side. And actually, I'm gonna move it towards me one more time just so that I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to add this guy right here. And remember to just pull your hand through if you must, and then just grab that wire and pull really tight. And that's what's so important, to have that wire in it, because look, you can just grab a bristle like this, twirl that bristle with a wire until you can no longer see the wire, and it just now becomes the bristle. And so now I'm gonna add the other one right here on the bottom. So it's gonna look more intentional, and we're gonna be adding some other small ones, but for right now, these will have to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go through here until I find that wire, which is right here. And then you pull really tight like this. And look how cute that is. And then you grab one of your bristles, you go up. Actually, not that one. All right, let me secure this real quick and I'll be right back. All right, so now I've secured them, and remember to add some glue to the top of your ornament so that way it goes down and it is going to keep it in place. So I'm gonna add some right here, and this one I'm going to add some right here, and just let it go down, push that mesh in there, and it's going to secure very well, and it's not going to go anywhere, I promise you. All right, so my next step is going to be to add my picks and stems, and for that I have chosen some of these really beautiful red foliages with glitter and some of these white snow ones. So I'm gonna start with the red ones, and for that I'm going to move my glue gun over here. You guys working with this glue gun, it's kind of a hassle. You have to move it everywhere, but you know, you always just find a way to do it. All right, so what I'm going to do is they come like this, so I'm gonna cut them shorter. I'm gonna make 2 out of 1, and if you have a pick machine like this one, then it becomes really easy to just work with it. And remember to always add a whole bunch of glue to your stem, and I'm gonna start up here on the top. So I'm gonna add like that. And what I like about putting the mesh is because that stem really latches on to your mesh, and it's going to stay there forever if you put enough glue to it. I am having so much fun. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these videos. I really hope that they're helping you create something beautiful for your Christmas this year, because I am having a blast. This year, like I told you earlier in the year, we were gonna go big, and I just hope that you are enjoying as much as I am, and teaching you some tricks and tips on floral design and all of the things that I learned while working in the industry, so that you too can create something beautiful this holiday season. And you know, when I had that people come for the meet and greet, I should know that the best compliment you could pay me was that you learn whether it was what happens on the left happens on the right, or whether it was anything that you learned from the channel. It was such a compliment, because my only intention with this channel is to really just pass on all of that knowledge that I have gathered throughout the years working in the industry, so that you too can either make them to sell or just create them for your family when they come over. And that's my only intention for this channel. So I really hope that they're at least teaching you a little bit something, so then you too can create something beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna add this one right here, making sure that it latches on like that. I feel like I need one over here. And I'm gonna add another one. Putting this steel pick is so important. That's one, if I'm telling you, if you have to invest on your tools, your steel pick would be one of them that I recommend. And then the other one is a good hot glue gun, because if you have a good hot glue gun, your wreaths are always going to be perfectly glued. You don't have to worry about it. And your pick machine, well, like I said, this steel pick really helps to cut through all of the mesh and all of the things that has to cut through it in order to latch on to everything. All right, so let's see, where do I need another one? I'm gonna put one more up here, and then one more on the bottom, because remember, what goes up must come down. So I think I'm gonna cut this one in 2. Yeah, why not? So that way I can do some on the bottom. And then we're gonna move on to my favorite pick. And like I said, you guys, this pick I'm gonna be putting on my shop for next year. We're gonna actually go ahead and get all of the items that you'll see here, Ramon at Home. You'll be able to get them next year as I work. Let me make sure that goes in, perfect. And then I'm gonna add the last one on the bottom. So as I was saying, you guys are gonna be able to go to my Etsy shop and get all of your supplies. So if you like this wreath, if you just want to get the little stems, or if you just want to get the poinsettias, that'll be the case, but next year. I was super excited to do it this year, but for one reason or another one, we were just not able. But I really am having fun, a lot of fun, being able to share all of this with you. So I'm going to add this one right here. And so it doesn't look balanced, right? But that's just because that's one pick. So now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to add my favorite stem, and it's this one. And look at this. What I like about it is because it just comes out so easy. So you can either use the whole stem like that on a Christmas tree, or you can just pull it apart like this to use as your flyaways. And if you know me, and if you've been following the channel, you know that I do not do a Christmas tree, an arrangement, or anything else without the flyaways, because it's what gives your wreath that fly, that like movement when you put on your door and it catches the wind. It's just so beautiful. So this is one of my favorite items in the world. And next year you'll be able to get it here on my Etsy shop. Listen to my Etsy shop. And if you're watching this next year, which will be 2023, guess what? You can get them now on my shop. So head on over to my Etsy shop. The link is going to be down below, and you'll be able to use these beautiful flyaways on your wreaths. Okay, so I'm gonna start right here, and then I'm gonna go one up, one down, and I'm gonna go all the way around. And look what that does. That is the three-dimensional feel that I like on my wreaths, because it really gives it that movement and gives it a three-dimensional feel. It just makes it look so much more beautiful. Right, so I'm gonna add another one, and all you have to do is weave them in, one out, one in, one out. Now I have to do one in. I think I'm gonna do it right here, like that, see? And now I'm gonna do one out. And we're gonna continue like that all throughout the wreath. So I'm gonna continue doing that, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I'm done adding all of these beautiful flocked picks, and I just think they look spectacular on this particular wreath. I feel like I need one up here, but we'll adjust in a second. So now the next thing I'm going to add is going to be some of these gorgeous poinsettias. Look at this. They look like Santa's coat, and it has this fluffy pollen on the inside. They are just absolutely beautiful. For that, I'm going to cut a little bit. So I'm gonna cut probably about this much, and I'm going to add a pick, because remember, that pick is going to help us cut through all of the mesh. And then after that, I'm going to add a little glue, not a little, a lot of glue, to my stem. Put it upside down so it runs forward. And because I have a triangle like this, now I'm going to start adding the flowers where the ornaments are not, so that way I can create another triangle. And look at that. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. I love it. It really is starting to look like Christmas, and I am in love with this wreath. All right, let's add another one. Let's see. Add some glue. I really hope you are enjoying as much as I am. I'm having so much fun. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna add one right here, right in the middle, right here. Like that, and look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm gonna add one more right here, and I have it already fluffed. Just give it a curvature, cut, and then add a steel pick. If you don't have a steel pick machine, no problem. The only thing is that when you do not have that, they have like these teeth. It kind of sometimes like the stem is bent and it's so hard. So that's why I'm telling you, if you make this for sale, go ahead and invest in this pick machine. You'll thank me later. All right, so I'm going to add another one right here. I'm gonna push all of my bows. I don't wanna get all of my beautiful ribbon. I'm gonna add this guy right here. Just going down like that and fluff a little bit. Look at that. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. So then we'll fluff our ribbon. And now the last thing I wanna add is some of these cute little bundles. They have the peppermint. Once again, we're gonna cut a little bit. This one actually have some teeth in them, but I'm still going to put the pick on it. I'm gonna go ahead and add this glue, lots of it, and I'm gonna find a spot like, let's say right here, and I'm going to add like that. And look at that, that little bundle just adds a lot of Christmas spirit on it. Oh my gosh, I love the way this is looking. I have a few more. Let's see, where do we want to put them? Just let your art dictate. I said it like I'm from the South. Ow, 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 that burnt. All right, so we're going to put it right here. All right, so here's a quick tip you need to know. If you have some leftover ribbon with the project that you're working with, don't pitch it. Be sure to cut 2 strips to cover your wreath hanger, and that's going to give you a finished look when you hang your wreath on the door. All you have to do is put some glue around the edge on both sides, put 2 pieces together, and I'll show you real quick. You can just weave this through and you cover your wreath hanger. So that way when you hang your wreath on the door, the look is going to be finished all the way up. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so this particular look right here, it's one of my favorite ones for the holiday season. I love these beautiful poinsettias. They're made out of felt, and it has like a chenille white cord around it. It makes it look like a Santa hat. The little plaque says, "Let us know," and it is perfect, you guys. It is packed with these beautiful ribbons in glitter, silver, red, and white, and then this beautiful scripted one that says Jingle Bells. It's got so many berries and picks and ferns that are glitter, and it just glistens with the light. It is absolutely beautiful. Well, so what do you guys think? Did you enjoy these 5 beautiful Christmas wreath DIYs? I really hope that you did. I really wanted to share with you some designer tips on how to create a beautiful Christmas wreath for your front door. And I cannot wait to read your comments. You guys know that's my favorite part about Sundays and Thursdays. I cannot wait, so be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know which out of the 5 Christmas DIY wreaths was your favorite. And then also, if you're new to the channel, I'm gonna put a playlist right here with a lot more Christmas decorating ideas and DIYs to inspire you to create something beautiful for your home this Christmas season. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And as always, you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.